would you still love me anyway? What if my soul's about to go far beyond these skies? Do you know I really gave this world a try? This is my last goodbye. I cried, then fell to the floor. Those angels are hanging outside my door. I just don't know anymore. My heart is so sore. I cried, then fell to the floor. Those angels are just outside my door. Others' emotions cut me, I can absorb them all. I've cried their tears and I feel it when they fall. But what if I'm leaving this world today? Would you still love me anyway? What if my soul's about to go far beyond the skies? Do you know I really gave this world a try? This is my last goodbye. I cried, then fell to the floor. Those angels are hanging outside my door. Don't know what to do anymore. My heart is so sore. I cried, then fell to the floor. Those angels are hanging outside my door. I cried, then fell to the floor. Those angels are hanging outside my door. Don't know what to do anymore. My heart is so sore. I cried, then fell to the floor. Those angels are just outside my door. Those angels are just outside my door. Welcome to another talk. And today's talk is called Presence is the Holy Vortex. Now, you might have noticed lately, I think maybe last month, I've been putting songs on some talks that I've wrote, or that one that you just heard. I wouldn't say wrote, I would say receive, because you're not actually, you're composing it and the ideas are coming in, but it's, I don't claim it. So I've been adding songs onto the introduction of my talks. I just thought it was a nice little touch. It shows something different. But in this talk, this is called Presence is the Holy Vortex. And there's vortexes all around us. I'm not in nature. That sounds from YouTube, just to let you know. But yeah, there's vortexes all around us. You'll notice it if you go into a shop, if you think a thought, it will get more powerful, and that's because you've went into a vortex. And vortexes get more powerful, more powerful, more powerful. But the vortex that is the safe place, you could say, is within the present moment. Within yourself. When you go within, you're basically being present. Presence is the holy vortex to the divine source. And that's how my journey began. It began from a moment of that. 10 years ago, I was 24, I'm 34 now, and I had this unexpected awakening. And it was because I had a moment of authenticity where I sat down and had enough of everything, and then I did something. And anyone can do it. They can just have enough. And that's when you awaken, because what you've done there is you've let presence lead the way now. You see, and that's really what God is. It's not a person up in the clouds or any crap like that. Excuse my language. But it's God is the present moment. That's all there is, really. If you think about it, the source is nothingness. Which is logical to suggest that. Also, science now has technology. They can go back to the core of before the universe, and they say it was nothing. This technology can show you that. But you don't need technology. Logic would say that you have to have a nothing at some point. But the nothingness, you tap into that when you go into presence. And you'll notice everything slows down. You see? Everything slows down. And you start to notice your breathing, you might notice what you see. And if you suffer from panic attacks, anyone listening, watching this, listen to this podcast, then this is how to defeat it. I wasn't always like this. I once had crazy depression. I would go to a gym just to get rid of the depression. There was, run or do, I would get so anxious, and it would get worse and worse, and crazy anxiety. Hyper person. And drugs were involved, alcohol. Now, so and the awakening, basically was you're returning to presence. That's it. You've had enough, and that's when you awaken. My awakening is an example of that. And yeah, when you're present, as I was saying with the panic attacks, that's a good way to calm yourself down. I would, have anxiety kind of stuff like that. Not as extreme as some people, but I would get worse and worse and worse. And then the awakening happened, and basically it's just been a journey of to simplify it, to simplify the awakening. I mean, it was very simple. I wasn't showing loads of knowledge or anything like that. Basically, the start of the awakening, I was getting information downloads, my own thoughts, but they're coming from my own consciousness, higher levels though. Basically, the awakening was about showing me that everything's nothing and that I'm nothing. And that's what presence is. Presence is nothingness. But that presence is like nothingness, but the nothing manifests and arises things for no reason. So when people say, oh, it's all meant, but when you look at the other angle, when you think everything has to come from nothing, then there can't be any reason for anything to arise. You see? And the nothingness has all the answers, and so nothingness / presence. But it takes time to work with it, because especially if you're like me, when I had my awakening, I was the total opposite of what I am now. People could get under my skin. Now if someone is, a toxic individual in any way, shape or form, I don't have it. And I don't say anything to them. I just have nothing to do with it. Because this path has shown me to have peace, and that peace is in the present moment. Even in the worst situation, if you're present, then the situation is a lot better. It's your mind that makes it bad. And that's why I mentioned like I say, this vortex is all around us. And these vortexes are merely just other dreams. Because your reality is just dreams, illusions. Because everything has to come from nothingness. No start, no beginning. So that means everything else is a dream. And it's like people talk about third eyes and chakras. Well, what's the word chakra? It's a word, made up word. It's an idea. It's not real. And physical reality, science now has proved that it's all energy, and that we only see in the visible universe 0.005%. I don't understand what that means, but it's not a lot. So we don't really know anything. And if there's nothingness, then that means there's infinity. And that means that you can't know anything, because there's infinity of knowledge. It also means that everything's been tried and tested an infinite number of times, because it can run itself infinitely because it's infinite. Try not to use your brain when trying to work out what I'm saying, because it won't understand it. You have to go with just what is, your heart. That's the closest representation of what we are. Now, even so, I say nothing. Within the nothing, there is a love there. A love force, and that could be described as God. See, the atheists are half there, but not totally. They're missing out the love part. They're missing out this force that is love within the source nothing. And within that is the Akashic records, which is all knowledge. You see, and you tap into this when you are working with presence. That is the whole, like I say, like the title of this talk. That is the holy vortex. You see? And so that's all this awakening was. I'm my mum's registered carer. And, you know, she was asking the other day about the awakening. I said, I didn't get shown nothing. I just, like everything was nothing. Basically, back to the core. And, yeah, so that's basically my path. And then information was shown to me, or information came intuitively because of the presence, the force within that. And you can't ever know anything, like I say, if there's nothingness. Because anything you think you know is not knowing something else. Because nothingness is would have infinity of knowledge of possibilities. And it would just constantly arise for no reason, because nothingness can never... If you think it's a nothing, then you're thinking it's a something. You can never really understand what the nothing really is. Because as soon as you think it's this or that, you've identified it as a something. So it's the nothingness is inescapable. And so that which I'm talking about, that is tapped into in presence. So if you want to spiritually awaken, that's how you do it. Very simple. But we live in a world where everybody thinks that being complex is intelligent, but it's something. So it's just absolute presence, and you're tapping into the divine intelligence, which is more feelings than thoughts, heart-based. It's like when someone has enough and they pray to God. For the first time in their life, they've been present. They've never been present before, and then a miracle happens. They think it's a separate God sitting on a cloud. When how can that be possible if everything has to start from nothing? It means that you can't, that all is that nothing. And that third eyes, it doesn't exist, just like your eyes don't exist, just like your body doesn't exist. It's a dream, a possibility of a dream, of an illusion. But you can't really be. And also, like I said a moment ago, you can't understand it, because nothingness is, you can't understand it. It just is, for no reason. Because it would have no reason for anything to arise, because it's not. And this kind of knowledge I'm tapping into because at this moment in time I'm being within that presence. So that is the holy vortex into everything you want to know. You probably would have noticed that my talks are very meditative. I have done talks where I talk to the camera, but it's not about me. You know, so I prefer to put like a picture up with, you know, the name of the talk. Because it's about the message more than me, because there is no me. You see? Sean Taylor's a name made up, with letters that were once made up. It's just nonsense, is it? If it's just made up. And once upon a time it was just seen as nothing. It was nothing. It would have just been whatever was, but then they made it up. And then when they get people to repeat, that's when the programming starts. So you deprogram yourself and go back to the source by working with presence. And I'm just going to leave it there. For latest updates, talks, news, research, and much, much more, please do check my website at www.lovelightfamily.com. Thank you.